The human crouched inside the tight, metallic walls of the outpost's decontamination chamber, wrench in hand, muttering under his breath. Another damned system malfunction. He was just here to fix things, not deal with half-busted tech from a civilization that thought self-cleaning meant erase all matter in a 5-foot radius. With a final crank, he tightened the last bolt. A mechanical hiss echoed, followed by a dull chime. Good. Should be fixed now. Before he could step out, the door on the opposite end slid open. A figure stepped inside. Tall. Regal. Impossibly well sculpted. The human blinked. The alien woman barely acknowledged his presence as she strode forward, a bored, almost languid elegance in her movements. Her violet eyes, slit-pupilled, flicked briefly in his direction before dismissing him entirely. And then she began, unfastening her armor. The human choked on his own breath. What? She peeled off her chest plate first, revealing intricate golden markings glowing faintly on smooth, toned skin. HFY, you know this isn't a private room, right? His voice cracked embarrassingly. She still didn't look at him. Cleansing protocol initiates in 10 clicks. The process is most effective when the body is fully exposed. Her gauntlets hit the floor with a metallic clunk. The human's survival instincts screamed at him to turn around, but his legs refused to move. His brain struggled between profound terror and biological appreciation. Then the system glitched. The overhead lights flickered. A loud bzzzt, krrch crackled through the chamber, and suddenly, the doors slammed shut behind them. The control panel sparked violently. The words, "Full decontamination engaged," flashed in ominous red letters. The human felt a horrible sinking feeling in his gut. Oh, sure. A blinding white pulse shot through the room, and vaporized every last shred of clothing. The next second stretched into eternity. His brain tried to reboot. Failed. Rebooted again. Everything was on full display. The alien woman stood before him, now fully aware of his presence. Her gaze snapped to his. Time froze. Then her pupils dilated. A deep, biological hum filled the chamber as the markings on her skin flared to life. The glow intensified, spreading rapidly across her body. Her breath hitched, sharp, immediate. The temperature in the chamber spiked. The human took a slow, terrified step backward. Her body tensed. Every muscle locked, her fingers twitching as if resisting an unseen force. A faint scent filled the air, something exotic, intoxicating, and alarmingly inviting. The realization hit him like a freight train. Oh no. Whatever was happening, it was biological, instinctual, and very, very bad. She exhaled through clenched teeth, shuddering. When she finally spoke, her voice was deeper, thick with something primal. You. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. You have seen me. The human nodded, slowly. Why, yeah. Total accident. Let's forget it happened. She took a step forward. We cannot. Her hands clenched at her sides as another shudder racked her frame. Her breathing was erratic now, her body reacting to something he didn't understand. You have witnessed my bare form, she gritted out, as if fighting against a deep internal struggle. In my culture, this means we are bonded. The human lost all ability to function. What? She swallowed. Then, as if the words physically pained her, she spoke again. We must complete the ritual. His entire soul left his body. I'm sorry, the what? Her eyes burned with intensity. You have triggered my imprinting. My body, my very being has begun to synchronize with yours. If we do not complete the bond. She inhaled sharply, a visible tremor running through her. I will perish. A long, horrified silence stretched between them. The human processed this. Then, in the most eloquent response he could muster. Wait, what? The human stood frozen, hands raised defensively, as the towering alien woman took a slow, deliberate step forward. Her breathing was shallow, her muscles taut, as if holding back something monumental. You must complete the bond, she repeated, her voice heavy with some unspoken urgency. The human rubbed his temples. All right, let's just take a step back. Figuratively and literally. Because I'm feeling very boxed in right now. She didn't move. Instead, she stared intently, her pupils still dilated to an unnatural degree. Do you not understand? She asked, her tone dipping into something almost offended. We are already interlocked. He blinked rapidly. Interlocked? Lady, I don't even know your name. Names are irrelevant once the sacred unveiling has occurred, she declared. Your eyes have claimed me. Your gaze has marked me. There is no undoing this, human. The human let out a sharp exhale. Okay, fantastic. But where I come from, accidentally seeing someone naked doesn't mean marriage. She gasped. Visibly. Audibly. You mean, humans do not bond through sacred unveiling? Nope. Then how do you claim your mates? The human shifted uncomfortably. Not like this. We usually date first. Her expression twisted in pure bewilderment. Date? Yeah, you know, go out, spend time together, get to know each other. She narrowed her eyes. And this dating, does it involve copulation? His soul left his body. What, excuse me? She tilted her head, studying him. You hesitate. That means yes. Not necessarily. So you do copulate before choosing a mate? I mean, sometimes, but… She threw her head back and laughed. A full, deep, resonant laugh. What foolish rituals! You mean to tell me humans partake in meaningless coupling before they even decide to bond? The human winced. I wouldn't say meaningless. It's a part of the process. Her eyes gleamed. I assure you, human. I am fully prepared to jump in. He choked. That's not what I meant. Before he could untangle the mess of implications, a visible shudder ran through her frame. Her hands clenched at her sides, and a strange, faint glow flickered across her golden markings. She exhaled sharply. Too sharply. His alarm bells rang. You okay? She gritted her teeth. The imbalance is worsening. Imbalance? My body is reacting to the incomplete bond, she admitted. Her fingers dug into the nearby console for support, until metal crunched like paper. The human's stomach dropped. Okay, I don't want to sound alarmist, he said, voice tight. But you just crushed solid steel like a soda can. She wasn't listening. Her skin glowed brighter, the markings pulsing in erratic waves. The scent from earlier, subtle but intoxicating, grew stronger. The human took a cautious step back. We should, probably get a doctor. I do not require a doctor. Respectfully? I disagree. At that exact moment, the outpost's lead medical officer stumbled in, masking his face. All right, what in the deep void is going on in here? He waved a scanner. I just got reports of… Whoa, okay, yeah, that's a problem. The human whipped toward him. Please tell me you can fix this. The doctor squinted at the scanner. Then at the glowing, shaking, clearly about to snap a support beam alien woman. Yeah, bad news, buddy. The human braced himself. Oh, great. Lay it on me. The doctor cleared his throat. Whatever her species does to bond, she wasn't exaggerating. If you don't do something, she might literally explode. The human's brain flatlined. What do you mean explode? Like boom? The alien woman snarled. Not like an explosive. More like… I will dissolve into molecular instability from unmet biological completion. The human stared at her. Then at the doctor. Then back at her. How is that better? The human sat in the outpost's tiny medical bay, rubbing his temples while the glowing, potentially explosive, way too serious about this alien woman stared at him with deadly conviction. All right, he sighed. So just to recap, if we don't complete the bond, you'll dissolve? She nodded. And by complete the bond you mean a formal joining ritual, she said. A sacred declaration of interlocking. He winced. Still not loving that word. The doctor, who had taken a generous swig from a hip flask, exhaled. Look, kid, she's not lying. I've seen some weird biology in my time, but whatever's happening to her? It's real. If we don't stabilize her soon, we're gonna have a cleanup job instead of a patient. The human swallowed. Hard. Okay. What if we just fake it? The alien woman stiffened. Fake? Not fake. He backpedaled. Just symbolic. Like a wedding. Maybe it tricks your biology into thinking we completed the bond, and you don't, self-destruct. She frowned, considering. A ceremonial union in place of full consummation? The human coughed. Yeah, let's call it that. The doctor, still mildly drunk, snapped his fingers. I like it. Hell, I'll officiate. The human blinked. You're a doctor. Not a priest. The doctor grinned, pulling out a suspiciously official-looking space clergy badge. Buddy, I am whatever the hell I need to be when I've had 3 shots of cosmic rum. The alien woman immediately stood. Then we shall commence the ritual at once. Wait, right now? Her pupils narrowed. You would delay our bonding? The human shut his mouth. Nope. No. Let's do it. Right now. Immediately. Great idea. Minutes later, a ragtag group of amused crew members gathered in the outpost's makeshift chapel. A drunken space captain, a grizzled, four-armed alien named Grak, stood at the front, struggling to keep a straight face. All right, folks, Grak slurred, holding up a tablet like it was a sacred tome. We're gathered here today for... He snorted. Sorry, He coughed, barely containing his laughter. We're gathered here today for this, sacred and extremely serious union. The human, standing awkwardly beside his glowing, terrifyingly committed alien bride, leaned in. Are you sure this will work? The doctor, watching from the side, shrugged. If it doesn't, we'll all find out the hard way. The alien woman suddenly grabbed the human's hands, her grip like a hydraulic press. He barely stifled a scream as his knuckles cracked. I swear upon the eternal stars, she intoned, voice rich with solemnity. I am yours, and you are mine. Interlocked until our last breath. The human soul left his body. Grak bit his lip, holding back laughter. Yeah, human, your turn. The human, sweating profusely, swallowed. Yeah? Sure. What she said? There was a pause. A long pause. Then the alien woman exhaled. The glow around her markings softened. The unnatural heat in the air dissipated. The dangerous pupil dilation eased. She was stabilizing. The doctor whistled. Well, I'll be damned. It worked. The human sighed in relief. Great. So now we just... Then he saw her face. Her expression had changed. Before, she had been driven by biological urgency. Now, she looked at him with something worse. Complete and utter devotion. His stomach dropped. Oh no. The human woke up the next morning to a looming shadow. His eyes cracked open, still groggy. And immediately locked onto his new alien wife sitting beside his bed, watching him. He yelped. Why are you staring at me? It is my duty to watch over you. Not while I'm sleeping. She tilted her head. Why not? I must ensure your safety at all times. The human ran a hand down his face. Oh God! What have I done? The answer became very clear over the next few days. Unintended consequence number 1, she followed him. Everywhere. The human stepped into the bathroom. She followed. He turned around, horrified. What are you doing? I am standing guard. You don't need to guard me while I'm taking a leak. She frowned. But you are vulnerable in this position. That's exactly the problem. Unintended consequence number 2, she was aggressively territorial. The human was chatting with a fellow female crew member when suddenly. Step away from my bonded. The human jumped as his alien wife loomed behind him, eyes flashing. The crew member froze. We were just talking? You will not tempt my bonded. The human groaned. She's not tempting me. She was telling me where to find spare parts. Ah. His alien wife nodded approvingly. Then I shall retrieve the parts for you. The crew member fled. Unintended consequence number 3, she insisted on providing for him. The human was walking when his alien wife suddenly picked him up. Put me down! It is my duty to carry my bonded, she said calmly. You must not waste your energy on menial travel. I have legs. I like using them. She ignored him. Unintended consequence number 4, she started challenging people to duels. The human bumped into someone in the hallway. Before he could even say oops, his alien wife stepped in front of him. You dare challenge my bonded? The poor alien, a confused merchant, paled. I was just walking by. Defend your honor or be destroyed. The human frantically waved his hands. No one needs to be destroyed. His alien wife unsheathed a glowing blade. The merchant screamed. The human grabbed her arm. Stop challenging people to fights. She frowned. But it is my duty to defend your honor. The merchant fled at light speed. The human exhaled deeply. Okay, he muttered. So, new problem. The fake wedding worked a little too well. The human stormed into the research lab, looking half crazed from days of being carried, guarded, and defended against his will. All right, he snapped, slamming his hands on the console. Someone tell me how to undo this marriage. The gathered alien scholars exchanged wary glances. One of them, an elderly, three-eyed historian, cleared his throat. Technically speaking, dissolving an interlock bond is quite simple. The human's eyes lit up. Oh, thank God. What do I do? Sign some papers? Shake hands? Sacrifice a goat? The historian adjusted his glowing robes. You must reverse the process through which it was formed. The human blinked. Okay. And what exactly does that mean? The historian hesitated. Well, if the bond was formed through, Another scholar coughed. Through exposure and commitment. The human's stomach dropped. Wait. Are you saying the only way to break the bond is to? A heavy silence. The human's brain short-circuited. He shook his head violently. Nope. Nope. Not happening. There's gotta be another way. The historian shrugged. There is not. The human groaned. I didn't even sign up for a real wedding. I just wanted to keep her from exploding. Unfortunately, the universe hated him. Because standing right behind him was his alien wife. She had heard everything. He turned slowly. Her expression, the utter betrayal in her shining, alien eyes, hit him harder than expected. You, she whispered. You wish to break our interlocking? He winced. Look, Her shoulders squared. Very well. And then she walked away. No arguments. No dramatics. Just a quiet, accepting departure. And for some godforsaken reason, that hurt worse than all the chaos combined. That night, the outpost felt too quiet. For the first time in days, she wasn't following him. She wasn't standing guard outside his door. And that should have been a relief. But instead, he felt off. The human sighed, running a hand through his hair. Why am I like this? With a grumble, he pushed himself up and made his way through the halls, toward the one place he hadn't checked. Her quarters. She was sitting by the window, staring at the glowing nebula outside. He lingered in the doorway, feeling unreasonably awkward. She didn't look at him. I did not think you would come. The human rubbed his neck. Yeah, well, I'm an idiot like that. Silence. Then, quietly. I do not wish for you to suffer, she murmured. If you truly do not want me, I will release you. The human froze. His chest tightened. This wasn't the overly dramatic alien warrior who had crushed console panels and challenged people to duels. This was just her. An 8-foot tall, terrifyingly strong, and incredibly sincere woman who, in her own strange way, had just wanted to love and protect him. And now, she was willing to let him go. If that's what he really wanted. The human exhaled sharply. He was so screwed. He stepped inside. Look, I didn't exactly plan for this. And I definitely didn't expect to be forcibly married to a warrior queen. Her lips tugged slightly upward. Queen? He huffed. But maybe we just try this for real? See where it goes. Her head tilted. You are proposing we court? He grimaced. I mean, it feels a bit late for that, but yeah, something like that. Silence. Then, a slow, wicked grin. Then let us begin the proper bonding. The human's stomach dropped. That doesn't mean I get carried everywhere again, right? She cracked her knuckles. Cut to black.